Are you looking for tips on how to sleep better? I've got some right here that I want to share with you guys. I've also been tracking my sleep recently, and I want to share what I have figured out with you guys since I've started doing that. First of all, hi to all the new dads out there. This is Dad Reviews. This is where I give you my unedited, hopefully more authentic look at the products that I like, use, and have. So if you're interested in that, you might want to consider clicking that subscribe button. So everything that I'm going to recommend today is free. I just want to start off by saying that. So tips on how to sleep better. One thing that I've been looking at is circadian rhythms for whenever I'm trying to go to sleep. And what that means is you want your body at nighttime to start producing melatonin so that you actually do fall asleep. And one way that that is inhibited is by blue light or excess, these bright lights coming into your eyes at night, especially from things like screens and whatnot. Whenever you're looking at your screen, maybe at night in bed or right before bed or something like that, that's actually messing with your circadian rhythm, and it's telling your brain, hey, it's still daylight outside. Let's not produce melatonin. Let's keep this guy up. And so I've been looking into different ways to change my environment around me so that I'm not putting as much bright blue light into my eyes at night, and hopefully I can get better sleep. So first thing that I want to show you, all your cell phones have it, whether you're on Apple or Android, is on mine, whenever you drop down here, there's the little moon in the middle there, little moon. That's the night light right there. And whenever I didn't have that on, I realized that there was a ton of light coming at me, and it was like overpowering my eyes, and it was stimulating me too much. So I started turning that on, and actually I've come to like it so much that I leave it on all the time now. I've set that to just come on for 1 minute between 11:59 and 12 a.m. And that's just so I don't think I could turn it on just all the time. So now my phone is always kind of this like orangey amber color. Now, whenever it comes to your computer though, I spend a lot of my time at night on my computer, and yes, Apple has their like night sight thing, night shift thing that you can turn on, but I find that it's not it doesn't get rid of enough of the color for me, and I need something that's really gonna just like dim it down hard. And so I found this this application called Flux. I'll link it up down in the description below. It's a totally free program that you can use. Actually, I believe they have an app for it for your Android device too, if you want to go darker or deeper with your light. But it's a little tool that's covered on the top, at the top here. I don't know if y'all can see that little symbol right there. But basically you can tell that my screen is not as like bright white as a normal screen. So what I'm gonna do right here, I wanna quit Flux just to show you guys the difference. So that is without Flux, and let me go ahead and turn off night shift as well. You see the difference in there? I had both of those things on, trying to make it get rid of most of this blue as I can, and it just made such a difference. So this is night shift right here, and then let me turn back on Flux for you just to show you the difference there. Now with Flux, what's super cool about it is that if you're a creative person and you're doing lots of photo editing or video editing, and you're working with color correction and whatnot, then you can set Flux to turn off whenever you're using certain applications. So whenever I'm here and I go into Photoshop, I open up Photoshop, and it should, there you go, it changes right there without me having to like go in and change and tweaks any of the settings. Now, if you don't want, I keep mine on pretty much all the time, just because I find that that bright light just really hurts my eyes, and it feels like it's making my body use more energy than I need to whenever the Flux is not on and the bright light's coming at me. So that's two of the main things that I've been doing. Now, another thing that I've been doing is, you notice that this lamp behind me right there is red. Whenever the sun starts to go down and it gets nighttime, we want to put the kids to bed. We're trying to make a nice environment for sleep. Red light is the way to go. So if you have any kind of red light bulbs or smart bulbs that you can make red, that's what that is right there. I've actually reviewed smart bulbs. I'll link up those down in the description below, actually, if you guys want to check those out. But all the smart bulbs that we have in our house, I started turning them to red around 8:30ish whenever our kids go to bed, just to, it quiets down the mind. It doesn't, the blue light doesn't like mess with your eyes and mess with your circadian rhythms. And so I found that that has been very helpful for me, especially at night whenever I'm up kind of working late doing that thing. I have my Flux on, got my night light on thing there. I turn on all the lights to be red lights, and so that I don't have a whole bunch of that blue light coming into my eyes. And that's been really, really helpful. So I told you guys that I would share with y'all my sleep number. I use an app here to track my sleep. It's called Sleep Cycle right there, the little orange one. So I'm gonna go ahead and click on that, and there's my pattern for last night. I got a 79% quality sleep. Now this, I'm curious to see how this is gonna change, because our 1-year-old is still, he occasionally gets put into the bed, and he still wakes up in his crib, and his crib is in our room. So my wife gets up and out of the bed a lot. And so I think that some of these peaks right here is because of that. And then nights whenever he sleeps like a champ, I'll get something more like this, where I have tons of deep sleep here, as opposed to these spikes like what was in that one right there, or that one right there. I'm still getting a pretty hard sleep, but I think because, one, my wife is getting up and getting the baby might make some noise. It uses the microphone in your phone to be able to kind of get an idea of what's going on. And so I don't know 100% how accurate this is. Now, you could do like, wear a Fitbit or something like that to bed, because that does track sleep and it actually does more things, with heart rate and all that. There's a product that I really want to try out. It's called the Oura Ring, O-U-R-A. I'll link it up down in the description below. This thing, from what I've heard, is like the best fitness tracker, sleep tracker, everything tracker. That is literally a ring that you wear on your finger, and it can do sleep quality. I believe it does heart rate, maybe even do like body temperature and a couple of other things. I honestly don't know much of the tech behind it, but it looks so cool, and I want to try it out so bad. I'm really thinking about getting one. But I've heard that that's like kind of the ultimate whenever you want to track your sleep. I think that there's other like pads or whatever that you can put on your bed that might be a little bit better. I don't know for sure, but I've just heard really amazing things about the Oura Ring. Just to give you guys an idea too of what else is calculated here on this Sleep Cycle app, it gives you how many steps you've taken that day, which I took 9,000 that day. It tells you what time you woke up, what time you went to bed, and then your sleep quality on average for over the nights that you have recorded there, which mine is an 89, which I think is pretty good. And if I remember correctly, I used to track my sleep a long time, like years ago, and I was getting some pretty crappy sleep, in the 65% range. So the fact that I'm almost at a 90% range, that's telling me that I'm doing something right, and I am excited about that. So it's good to see these numbers. Another thing that I'm working on too is that I want to have more time to be able to spend doing things that I like doing and not sleeping. And right now, like last night, I got 7 hours of sleep right there. It tells you how long you slept for. And I've been trying to make my body work better so that I go into a deep sleep faster, because that's where your best sleep is, and to stay in that deep sleep so that your body gets more regenerative during that time, and so it can wake up in like maybe 5.5, 6 hours or something like that, and still feel like you can tackle the day. I used to be able to need to get like 8 to 9 hours of sleep, and I would feel a little sluggish, and then now I've got it down to 7. I'm still feeling pretty good. I do notice that I get tired a little bit earlier in the evening, but since I've changed some of my eating habits recently, because I've read books about lowering cholesterol and all that type of stuff, and just making your body perform better, I've noticed that I'm not needing as much sleep, that I don't get as hungry anymore, because I'm filling myself with good saturated fats. Yes, saturated fat is good for you. You should go watch my previous video, which I'll link up right there if you guys want to check it out. Go click that video right there. I'll see y'all in that video. Y'all can go read all about my cholesterol numbers and what new things that I've learned about diet and all this type of stuff. Go watch that video right there. I highly recommend it. If you guys are liking what we're doing here on Dad Reviews, make sure to click that subscribe button. That thumbs up is always appreciated. If you found any of this interesting, or if you do any of this type of stuff, let me know down in the comments below. I'd be curious to know how it's affected you. Thank y'all for watching. Go watch that video, and Dad out.